earthly way of knowing which direction they are going. There's no knowing where they're rowing, or which way the river's flowing. Is it raining? Is it snowing? Is a hurricane a-blowing? Not a speck of light is showing, so the danger must be growing. Are the fires of hell a-glowing? Is the Grizzly Reaper mowing? Yes! The danger must be growing, cause the rowers keep on rowing! And they're certainly not showing any sign that they're cheat coding! It's February 18th, 2016.
You look really red.
Yeah, you got pretty red on that one.
Welcome
Holy shit.
to episode 85, the Cheat Codes Podcast, everybody. Woo!
I thought you were turning into a blueberry for
I
a
know,
second.
right? Yeah. Thank you for tuning in. The next hour is us drinking a few beers and going over our favorite bits from the past week in video game news and occasionally a little sprinkling of tech and pop culture, just for good measure. My name is Joe Erskine. I am your host. We're coming to you from the interior of a madman's playground. There's little guys in overalls running around that sort of look like Mario when he's eating a fire flower. Today I'm here with Cheat Codes producer and editor, Mr. Joe Veruca Arroyo.
Hello.
Cheat Codes contributor, Mr. Nick Augustus Gloop.
Hey, how's it going?
And Cheat Codes community manager, Chris Oompa Loompa Morris.
Doopity-doo.
Yeah, boy. Today on the show, we're going to lick the wallpaper of the following main topics. People want refunds for buying, playing, and enjoying Firewatch. Tim Cook says no to the court order that they backdoor the iPhone to aid the FBI in their San Bernardino terrorist case. And the CW is airing their first TV show about competitive gamers. For today's lightning round, we'll turn the brats into blueberries that are the following bits. We're going to take a look at the ins and outs of early Steam Early Access as presented by the makers of Tropico. And lastly, we'll address Chris Roberts' statements about maybe letting folks know about their dev schedule a bit better than they have so far. For beer, this is what we do on the show. Very quickly, let's talk about what we're washing it down with. Who's got a golden ticket, you guys? We do, of course. And so do you, if you're responsibly enjoying a tasty adult beverage while enjoying this slow boat to God knows where. We're cracking open a few Green Bullet triple IPAs from the folks at Green Flash Brewing in San Diego, California. This is what I imagine Schnozzberries taste like, guys. It's
Yummy.
So good. It's potent. What are we, 10% on this?
10.1.
Yes. That's the right way to drink beer. All right, gentlemen, so let's get started. Ben Kuchera over at Polygon wrote an article about Firewatch, strangely enough. It's apparently pretty good. The folks at Campo Santo have made a cool game that's pretty gorgeous from everything that we've seen. However, some users are asking for their money back after playing the entire game and enjoying it. He singled out a specific example about a user that was unsure whether or not he should apply for the Steam refund or not, having played through the entire game. He just seemed to think the game wasn't long enough for the $18 that the game was charging. We'll try and break it down a bit, sort of like an everlasting gobstopper, guys.
Yum.
Yeah, delicious.
We'll crack our teeth open instead.
I got the perfect tool to get through this, and you just bite into it and just break your tooth.
So, it's fine. As I was saying, a fan posted a Steam Note / review about Firewatch that questions the value of the game based on the fact that they want $18 for this thing that you can finish in effectively, 4 or 5 hours if you're not, dawdling too much. Even faster, possibly, if you're maybe doing like a speed run. He ended up keeping the game after the developers reached out to him with not necessarily an impassioned plea, but just kind of letting him know these were the circumstances that they were dealing with when they developed this game. It took a couple years to complete. It took a lot of personal, professional, financial sacrifice. All the stuff that goes into, or goes out the window, I should say, when you're making an indie game. When you're picking up your own bootstraps, grabbing yourself by the bootstraps.
I'm just curious, has this guy ever bought a DVD? Maybe, do you think?
I'm sure he probably has.
Like a DVD?
You mean the user?
Like a movie. Has he bought a movie on DVD and maybe paid $20, which is like the standard price at Best Buy, and gotten 2 hours worth of content?
Let's say yes.
And he's complaining that he got, 6 or 3 or...
Not enough.
Not enough. He didn't get enough time for paying $18
For paying a DVD price for the DVD length game, more than a DVD length game.
More than a DVD length game. He's paid more than what people pay for movies, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
to enjoy something that he could actually interact with, and he wants a refund, I guess. Like, I don't know. Like, I've never asked for a refund for anything, so I never understood this mentality, I guess, because, like, I understand buyer's remorse, understand that I should think about what I'm buying and not just throw my money at something and get it and expect that I should be completely satisfied and not want my money
Right,
back.
like think before you buy emotes, people.
It's like-
Right. This is the correlation that the Kuchera makes in the article.
Did he talk about DVDs or?
Well, he
movies
said it's
or
like if you go to the movie, like specifically Deadpool. If you go to the movie and you spend
Bring
2
your
hours
son,
watching it,
who's like 12 years old.
that's not his point. The point is that you sit through the entire movie, you actually enjoy it, but you're mad because it's not long enough or something. This isn't directly what he's saying, but like the argument could be made. So you went to Deadpool and you enjoyed it. You paid however much money you paid to see it, but you didn't think it was long enough. So now you want your money back.
That still doesn't even make any sense to me. Like, you're going to the movie theater, which did not produce the movie.
Correct.
And you want a refund from them because you decided to go see a bad movie. Like, do your fucking research. Like,
Yes.
Well, you won't ever personally. You won't know if you like it or not. But I guess that's not
You
even.
should
We
know-
can't even go down that debate road
Yeah.
because that's not even what this is about. This is about people playing it, enjoying
and
it,
liking the movie. And they
Like,
want
I really
money
thought this
back.
was good, but it wasn't long enough. I want more of it. That's more of like it's actually like the most backhanded positive review for a game. Like, in the way it's like, I thought this was great and I wanted more of it.
Oh, but the customer service was bad because they didn't give me my money back.
Right.
Right. It's
Well, so if you read his actual post on the Steam forums, the one which this article is quoting and the one that the developer responded to, he actually kind of phrased it in a way that made sense. Like, you really kind of have to look at his side of the argument. If you are on a budget and you spend your money and you play games and that's what you spend your disposable entertainment budget on, so you could spend $20 on another game and probably get like a lot more entertainment out of it. So for this guy, if I was in his shoes and I had $20 to spend and I bought this game, I mean, I might actually be kind of disappointed if that was my $20 for the month and I was hoping to play this game all month long and I really only got like a day out of it. Even though I enjoyed it, it's still kind of like, I mean, I would be like, oh man, like, damn, I don't really know what to do. Like, I guess I don't have anything else to play for the month, and I'm out of my cash. Like, which is why I think he went to the forums and presented the conversation in such a way where he was asking for kind of like what other people thought versus just panning the game and saying, oh fuck this, it was too short, I want my money back.
I agree, and this is one of those completely anecdotal scenarios where we're trying to make a mass point, which is really silly.
It's hard,
but and so in the context of it, that's fine. I mean, it does bring up a point though of people who feel a sense of entitlement when they play games. I have a question, and this will either make me sound really dumb or it'll be a good idea. It's one of the two.
an excellent preface.
Well, because it'll be one of those like, really, you didn't ever read the box. Do they actually put? And I know that this is not the easiest way to define, but do they put average run times or anything on these games like they do with movies? When they say a movie is 3 hours long, right? Don't you think a part of the ESRB should be that you must define at least the core gameplay or the main storyline to say like the average playtime it should take to finish? It doesn't have to be perfect, but someone could get the gist of it immediately by reading the box, and then they can make smarter purchases.
I think the ESRB should do it if they have a suggested one from the developer themselves.
Yeah, but it should be a requirement to have a suggested one from the developer, I guess is what I'm saying.
I think it depends on the game. I think it depends on the game you're talking
agree
about.
with that.
Well, why?
I think
Okay, I like this that you don't agree, but I guess why is that? It would have avoided this specific scenario. So what makes it not work?
So some games will use the amount of hours as like a marketing point. Like any of the big RPGs will be like 100 hours.
Right,
but-
like Witcher or something, yeah.
So on the other side of the token, right, like if that's the precedent, like you have to basically quantify the quality of a game's entertainment by the amount of hours that you will get per dollar.
Correct.
It's like movies, there's kind of that expectation, I guess. Like if you walk in and you pay $20 and you see a 30-minute movie, it'd be a little bit weird. But with games, I think because they run the gamut and it's such a different form of entertainment, trying to quantify like fun and value per minute is something that might actually stand to work against most game experiences. And then if people feel pressured to make these longer experiences, which they already do, right? Like make a longer game, you get more retention. People don't trade it into GameStop as quickly.
Can I be clear on one thing? I, at no point, nor do I want there to ever be a point where we're saying that we're quantifying quality via the number of minutes. That is not what it's not even remotely.
No,
a movie can fucking suck and be 3 hours long, and that doesn't define it. So a game can also be good or bad. But in this guy's case, he wanted to spend $20 for something he could play for a month. Maybe it wasn't if you're on a budget, you may not be looking for the best game, but you're looking for the game that gives you the time you need, right? So people will make the educated decision about playing a game based on either its length or its quality. Length does not define quality, so we're not trying to quantify how good it is.
That's what
by
she said, by the way.
Length. Okay, I don't know, and maybe I don't know.
I think that assigning like this requirement to say your game is approximately this long is like, even if you don't feel that way, the natural reaction will be to like quantify the value per minute or whatever, however you want to break it down.
You're saying it's a matter of perception, right?
If you force people to put like that amount, like the length of the game on the box, then it's going to like do more harm than good.
I agree, because I think it has a lot to do with the type of game too. Like if you're playing a game like Tetris, how do you quantify the amount of hours that go into Tetris? You could play that game for fucking ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I told you it was hard to define.
No, I'm just saying, but like, I guess I'm making it more explicit, giving it like, you know, proper examples. You know what I mean? Like when you talk about a game like The Witcher, or like these large, like Fallout 4 or something, where you could literally put hundreds of hours just kind of walking around, you know, every inch of the world map just for the sake of doing it, that could take forever. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
I guess the way I look at it though is like, maybe the way I'm looking at it isn't right, but I feel like that's almost the consumer's responsibility in the gaming in the gaming industry, as opposed to a movie. They got to tell you how long it is, because there is a hard time that you're going to be in the movie theater watching this movie.
Okay, yeah,
in a game, I could spend 5 minutes like in the menus just like adjusting my color settings or something,
making your XCOM 2 character out of the likeness of all your friends.
And I feel like that's something that somebody who's buying a game should look up and find out about it. Like, oh, there is an involved character creation process. Oh, that's going to add another 30 minutes to my game. Like I don't like games can't be measured the same way as movies. So like maybe it was an error of us to like compare them to movies in price point, but I still feel like it's the consumer's responsibility.
I think it's less about the comparison is possibly incorrect, but it makes sense in a way where, like, if you have a game that's 2 hours long and a movie that's 2 hours long, and you're paying $18 for that game and let's say $10 or $15 for the movie, and you watch it all the way through and enjoy the fuck out of it, you still don't ask for a fucking refund.
I guess
no matter what.
But if I put myself down and I actually think about it, like if I bought a game, I'm going to say Alien Isolation because I love that game.
Sure.
And I sat down on the couch and started playing that for 2 hours, and the movie and the game ended after 2 hours, I would be disappointed still. Like, but I feel like I should have known that about the game, like, because
you'd be disappointed in yourself.
I'd be disappointed in myself
that you didn't research it properly to know your purchase before buying it.
Yeah, I feel like I would have known.
But what if some of that information could be provided for you at the moment of decision?
But you're asking, like, what's the average length of play? And
no, I didn't say length of play. I said, when I specifically said it, I said the length of play for, like, the main story. If you go back and listen.
I had no problem spending $60 on Alien Isolation. I would even argue that game was too fucking long. Opposite example.
I haven't beat it, and I think it's great. Like, I love.
I hear you, but you could have ended that game like 15 hours in, not 40. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. There were some unnecessary parts in it, I guess, but
just as like a counterpoint.
So in retrospect, I do agree. I do agree with you guys, and especially Chris, because people are going to fall on the notion. Every time you give people something that is quantifiable, they kind of instantly make gut reactions. That's the reason why things in the store are 99 cents and not $1, because you're like, oh, this thing's less than $1. Yeah. Like, so it's about gut reactions of consumerism, and adding that to the box then makes people have gut reactions that length equals quality. And although I wish there was a way to inform people without making your consumer do all the research and then being like, well, you were dumb for not knowing better.
Well, that's why reviews exist and everything else. Like, you can get some information about what you're spending your money on. You know what I mean? Like,
it's It's not the length that matters. It's the motion of the ocean.
It's how you use it, guys.
How about
Because you can play Firewatch for probably hours on end if you're just walking around the forest.
yeah?
Like,
Why didn't he suck more at the game? I mean, if he just
If he was bad,
well,
he
let's
could.
okay. So
he could have played for the whole month.
Hold on. Let's. I think I agree with you, Chris, in pointing out the fact that this guy's question about possibly refunding was a valid one in the way he presented it. He was not like caustic or combative or aggressive about the fact that he's like, "Oh fuck this game, I want my money
didn't
back."
feel entitled
He was
to it,
asking
right? Yeah.
a legitimate question, and I think that's what makes it legitimate is the fact that now we're sitting here talking about it. You know what I mean? He presented it in a civil and intelligent way. He's like, "I thought that this money was maybe overpriced for the amount of content that I received out of it. Should I get a refund?" Now, this, Kuchera's article singles out this one particular guy, but this guy's not alone in the sense that, like, people thought that Firewatch was too short. And now this whole conversation is not necessarily about Firewatch. It's just about games in general. And maybe the thing that we should be talking about is the refund policy through Steam in general. So, to me, when you talk about Steam in the sense that if you play a game for less than 2 hours and you purchased it within less than 14 days, you are entitled to a refund. Now, those parameters seem relatively realistic when you talk about games like The Witcher or, something like, like a long-form RPG or like Alien Isolation, for instance. But when you talk about a game that can be finished in less than 2 hours, I mean, even this guy said he played more over the 2 hour limit. You know what I mean? It took him a little bit longer than 2 hours to finish the game.
Yeah.
And apparently you can even argue your point to Steam if you've played over the 2 hours, but you still purchased within that 14-day window, and that you'll usually get your way. You'll get your money back. You know what I mean? But that's costing those developers money, and especially after all these developers came out of the woodwork and said, "Guys, we 2+ years of our lives went into this game. Family, money, personal sacrifice, professional sacrifice. All these things kind of like went by the wayside, and we're hard to let go. You know what I mean? And
it's kind of weird because it's like we're in the binge watch generation when
Yes.
it comes to television and movies and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, let's sit on the couch and burn an entire weekend and barely sleep and finish as many seasons of Game of Thrones as we can. So think about that in terms of the amount of work, like how much man hours for how many people goes into the production value of one episode of one scene of Game of Thrones,
A whole
let alone
fucking lot.
right, let alone an entire season that someone can watch overnight. So it reminds me of this, not to keep equating it back to Hollywood movies, TV, but it makes sense.
we use
in
movies
that
to
respect.
theme this show, for Christ's sake.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
just
I know,
saying,
right? So in this scenario, it's really similar. Like a lot of people put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and if you're a binge player, I don't know what to call it, then you could just sit down and be like, I'm not going to sleep for 2 days, and I'm going to play this whole damn thing, and whether you like it or not, you're like, I bought this used at GameStop, and I have a 7-day return policy, so I'm just going to return the fucking thing.
Well,
right?
that's what people do. That's what.
But that's sad. It's sad, right? To know that there's money flowing around that doesn't go anywhere near the developers
I feel like
as a result of.
yeah.
I don't want to cut anybody off here, but we gotta move on here shortly. But bottom lining it right now, if you buy a game, you play it to fruition, and you enjoy it, I'm not sure you're entitled to your money back, right? Like bare bones, like brass tacks.
I don't think so.
I don't think I would ask for my money back on any game I've ever played, just because.
And neither should you, listener.
Fully through
like.
and enjoy
Not
the
even
game.
fully through. I bought the game and I can't even play it. Oh,
There's
I didn't.
plenty of games I don't finish, and I still don't ask for a
I'm
refund.
saying like I bought this game and I can't even install it on my computer because I don't have a Mac. Like I would not ask for my money back because I should have known that it can't.
Yeah,
be
I
installed
think
on Mac.
that is why refunds initially existed was to
It's a
protect the
technical issue,
consumer
yeah.
against problems.
Right.
Not
It's not content. It's
Right.
a technical issue. Yeah. All right.
I don't know. Like,
Chris, final thoughts? You got anything you want to add, man, before we move on?
I
come
mean,
back to you,
anything that I'm gonna say is gonna be like super inflammatory. So, you sure you want me to?
yes.
Nick,
Keep
any
going.
final thoughts?
this topic could burn so much time.
Oh yeah,
for
well,
sure.
it already has. It's not for
Yeah.
nothing in a weird way, but can we move on? Is everybody okay with that?
Chris, why don't you make a blog post about it?
All right. Number 2 on the docket. In the wake of the San Bernardino terrorist shootings back in December, the FBI issued a court order to Apple and demanded that a backdoor be created on the iPhone so that they could access the phones of the shooters. Tim Cook, the successor to Steve Jobs, in case you didn't know, you probably know, responded with a lengthy message that equates to a no. He goes on to describe the precedents that would be set and the potential breakdown of security and the loss of trust from their customer base. It takes some big shiny brass balls to rebuke any government agency. So let's talk a little about it and see if he's got the right idea here.
Can I?
Initial thoughts from anyone?
Yeah.
Initial thoughts is this whole encryption thing is just this huge like political issue that people don't actually understand, and the fact like government is asking for backdoors into the software not because they can't get into the software anyway already. They're just asking for it so they can like actually have like a legitimate reason, to
Like a
actually
record of actually going through the proper channels.
they have the proper channels.
Do you
to
know?
go through it.
Do you know the software that he has running on his phone though? The shooter, after 10 failed attempts to log in, it wipes the phone clean.
The contents,
so
yeah.
the reason why they reached out, this might put it in perspective. They still probably have the capability of cracking it without their help. But they haven't moved forward in trying to crack it because they know that they only have 10 attempts, so they really need to bring in a ton of manpower to really like lock down how they're going to approach this. And they could avoid all of that if they just, all they're asking them to do, to be very specific, was release that specific lock so that they had as many chances as they could to crack it. Not so that they would crack it for them, but so that they could do it in more than 10 tries.
Because they could already do it. So I was like...
Right. But doing it in 10 tries then is like a scary, like, oh, we could screw it up, and then whoosh, it's like everything's gone.
It's
right?
that Mission Impossible thing. This message will self-destruct in 10
exactly.
tries, you know?
Yeah.
But, so in context, a little bit, like, so if you want Apple to basically change up their entire operating system for iOS devices, or at least for their phones, to allow this one terrorist's phone to be accessed so that they can kind of like get more evidence or track down other people that he might have been connected to, whatever the FBI wants to use it for, is Tim Cook right in the sense that this is going to set a precedent so that like surveillance or whatever, like if he does this across the board for all iOS phones, it basically makes it possible for the FBI to crack anybody's phone.
Yeah.
And I actually just read something before we started the show. Engadget posted saying that like the next recourse for the FBI until they can kind of like counter Cook's denial of their request, or court order for that matter, is to actually try and use the biological fingerprints taken from one of the shooters to try and unlock the phone based on the fingerprint application, because there's some statute that some lawyer was talking about that there is precedent there that could be used. Like once you're dead, you don't really have rights, so your body can be used for whatever if you're a suspect in a crime. I don't know, it's weird, but
I thought you had to have like a pulse in order to open that thing.
Interesting.
You might be. That's a. I don't know.
The guy that ended up like circumventing the security with a thumbprint, he had to like go through like this long, expensive process of like faking a pulse as well as the fingerprint in order to get into the phone. I mean, not that the FBI couldn't like definitely figure out how to do that.
I feel like I could just do that with a piece of tape and keep my finger on it. My pulse will go with their fingerprint. Like I don't. It doesn't seem like that complicated.
Oh yeah. You can extract
vibration.
The finger. Yeah.
I don't know. It's silly, but
This is not CSI. However,
but it kind of is. But it is.
No. Yes. My question to you guys, and I guess the kind of the heart of this that I want to get to is Tim Cook right for refusing the FBI in this regard? And if
you want us to boil it down to a yes or no question?
Well, no, not necessarily. I want that to start the conversation, and then let's get weird. You know what I mean?
I think he's 100% right, and I think that the Google CEO backing him up as well is totally.
Wait, sorry. Say that last part again. Who's backing him up?
The CEO of Google. Actually,
Larry Page and Sergey Brin.
Whoever the new CEO of Google is. I'm blanking on his name right now, dude.
Okay, fair enough. Keep going.
Now it's just a matter of time waiting for like the other big tech CEOs to kind of weigh in on the subject as well. But they all make good points, right? Like it sets a precedent, and if they make this piece of software, and then the software is out there, and it's only a matter of time before the software is used for evil and not for good.
I think the name you were looking for was Sundar. I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Pichai or Pichai?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was like a series of tweets from him talking about their responsibility to, maintain security as well, because they're like the holders of Android. And he was saying, like we've given information where we could to the government.
Oh yeah, Apple's already been supported. Like he wasn't like decrying the FBI by any stretch. Like,
no, not at all. It's just, but they couldn't build a backdoor to their software, because then the backdoor would exist and
across the board.
Then it would be exploited, right? So it kind of undermined like all of these security engineers, like all the work that they had put into protecting people's contents on their devices.
I 100% agree. My short answer is I think it's okay that they made this decision as well. I think that the problem that the average consumer is going to have is putting this in the proper perspective. What they are going to see is a company that's saying, no, we don't want to because we want to protect our customers, not understanding that they're seeing it as an anecdotal decision. I keep using that word today, where they're saying, like, in this case, we're saying no because in another case, if we say yes to this, we might have to say yes to this. That's not the case. And a lot of people are thinking about it that way. What they're really saying is what Chris just said. Once we have to develop something that allows this to occur. We can't just turn it off, right? Which means now there's some piece of software that essentially can do this thing that exists, and it's in the hands of other human beings, be it FBI or not, which means the leaks can occur. It could spread out to hackers. If anyone got a hold of it, then no one can ever hold the software. And everything's compromised at that point. They're doing it for a long-term protection of something that might potentially ruin their ability to maintain this software.
From Tim Cook's perspective, I wouldn't want to be the guy that set this precedent either. You know what I mean? Because if you give that power over to the government, I'm not saying that I'm not anti-government by any stretch of the imagination, but I understand his hesitancy to do so because you create kind of that 1984 situation at that point.
I'm so worried about when we use the words set a precedent, because that's used in court,
like a legal thing.
That's not what's happening here. Are we?
No, but if he agreed to it, then it would set a certain precedent.
No, because that's not what this is about. It's about not releasing software that could potentially leak, that could ruin it for everybody else. It's not like a court scenario where you're saying, because I said yes to this, I have to say yes to this.
In his letter, he talks specifically about setting precedents. From a court angle.
It doesn't seem like the reason why.
But it's up to him right now, especially in these circumstances, to kind of stand the ground. Yeah.
He stresses in the article, though, yes, he does talk about not setting a precedent. However, he stresses more than anything just the notion of creating a backdoor and having that software exist, and the fact that things leak all the time, dude. If a piece of software got made that could backdoor an iOS and it got leaked, it's over, man. It's over. They pretty much would have to re-engineer iOS to plug
from the ground up
security holes. But it's once it's out there, it's out there, it's only a matter of time. It could be out there for 24 hours and cause immeasurable amounts of damage to people financially, to their health. Who knows? Imagine all the stuff you store on your iPhone, right? And imagine all of that suddenly is available for free use.
It's the fappening all over again.
Yeah, on a very different scale.
On a very large scale.
Yeah.
Way worse.
With way less attractive people.
Where I don't want to see all your nudes, dude. I really don't. I don't want to be hopping on Reddit front page and be like, what the hell?
You're acting like you haven't. It's fine. I understand. I think he's got the right idea here. I think he's holding the line, and I think it's a line that should be held. Yes? Maybe? Nick?
Yes.
Good answer. All right. I don't know. I'm a little reluctant to let this one go. I think we were onto something. I feel like not really, but at the same time, I kind of
Well, I want to know why Nick's so quiet.
I am. I'm curious too.
I'm conflicted because I very much agree with the whole let's keep encrypted things encrypted because it's not. I don't know. It's not a big deal, but I'm also very much show the government all my stuff because I don't have anything to hide.
Sure.
I people complaining for privacy and security and stuff usually have something to hide, and to me that
oh my god,
he's not completely wrong.
I'm not arguing. I understand it's a silly point.
It's a generalization,
but it's an okay generalization.
I'm just trying to say
acceptable.
Exactly what I mean. I'm on both fences in the sense where if that doesn't make any sense.
You're on both fences. I get it. Yeah.
There's
one fence here and there's another fence over there.
Parallel fences, and I'm standing on both.
Either side of the fence. I'm on both fences.
Okay.
I like this. Play devil's advocate. Give us the other sides, because this is why you don't want this topic to die yet. Because you want to hear.
I did. I want to kind of hear the other side.
I'm trying to keep it alive for Joe.
Do it.
I'm making stuff up here, but I don't know.
Which fence is the electric fence?
Yeah. Yes. Which one hurts me?
Sorry, I'm getting you off topic.
I don't know. I really agree with the whole thing. We don't need to release this encryption information. We don't need to give backdoors. We don't need that shit. The government's going to find their way in anyways. You can't stop them. But then I'm on the other side of like, is it really that big of a deal if they know what I'm going to like buy like the next day or something? Like, is it important for them to like for big data or the government to actually know like what it is that I'm going to be doing for this day or something? Like that kind of stuff isn't as important for me. But like I said, like the encryption thing, I don't know.
Is it one of those questions? It's one of those. It's a Jack Bauer question. It's a Jack Bauer you're in 24 and you got 10 minutes to react, right? And if you do A, 2 people die, and if you do B, 150 people die, but it sacrifices the security of everyone in the wake. This is one of those, you are a train conductor problem. Does everyone know the train conductor?
No, but I'm just thinking lesser of two evils. That's where I'm like equating this to.
Okay, well, the train conductor problem for the listener is you are a train conductor, you're on a train, and it's moving down the tracks, and you're about to hit a split. It's going to go left or it's going to go right. And this is a story of absolutes, so you don't get to say, like, oh, well, what if I jump off the train and then turn it around and pick it up because I'm Superman? Like,
shut up if you're saying
you have exactly 2 choices. It's a binary decision. It still is a binary decision, but
you have 3 choices.
No, you have 2 choices. It's a binary decision, but you have 3 choices.
Zeros, ones, and twos.
If you have 2 choices, do nothing or pull the lever. If you do nothing, the track it'll continue its course, which makes it veer left, and it'll hit a group of people and kill all of them for sure.
What's a group?
Probably a family of
let's say 4 or 5 people. That's not important, Nick.
Okay, so like a family of people, not necessarily like a small mob.
They're all pacifists.
If you pull the lever, if you should decide to take action and pull the lever, it will divert the course of the train and it will hit exactly 1 person and kill them.
He's a terrorist.
So this always comes down to the question of, are you willing to take action or not take action? And some people often believe that by not taking action, you have removed yourself from the problem, like you didn't even contribute. Or other people believe inaction is action. Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's that whole quote, like the evil triumphs when good men refuse to take action or something.
I think it's like FDR or something.
So in a way, this is really similar. It's like you have the choice to take action to allow them to backdoor the iPhone so they can get into it and potentially prevent a larger problem if there's any connection to these shooters to other shooters or a larger group.
That's the whole precedent on like is it really a larger problem though? Like is like the same.
Well, life's not an absolutes, but I can say this equates to the train problem fairly well because then the other choice is to not take action in unlocking the phone.
Well, so let's figure out why. Like, not to dig even deeper here, but the FBI want access to this guy's phone so they can establish what connections or like any other evidence that would like substantiate the crime that they committed, but as well as any other further leads towards any connections they had to like proper terrorist cells or connections. Yes, I think that's a fair assumption to make.
That's the goal. Yeah,
I suppose so. Yeah.
Morris, you look frustrated. You okay over there?
I just was reading a funny article about John McAfee related to this very topic.
McAfee's a madman. All right. Go ahead. I'm listening.
So he basically said, hey, FBI. Here, let me see if I can find the exact quote. So here's my offer to the FBI. I will, free of charge, decrypt the information on the San Bernardino phone with my team. We will primarily use social engineering, and it will take us 3 weeks. If you accept my offer, then you will not need to ask Apple to place a backdoor in its product, which will be the beginning of the end of America. If you doubt my credentials, Google cybersecurity legend in quotes and see whose name is the only name that appears in the first 10 results out of more than 250,000. Wow, John McAfee, like definitely very humble there, right? He was saying something about why do the best hackers on the planet not work for the FBI? Because the FBI will not hire anyone with a 24-inch purple mohawk, 10-gauge ear piercings, and a tattooed face who demands to smoke weed while working and won't work for less than $500,000 a year. But you bet your ass that the Chinese and Russians are hiring similar people with similar demands and have been for many years. It's why we are decades behind in the cyber race.
Holy shit! Now
like
he just generalized an entire culture of people too.
Right. So I feel like McAfee is the Trump of
oh my god,
of like software developers.
He's like, if you hire me, I will build a wall and I'll make China pay for it.
Right. Or I will tear down the Apple wall and make them pay for it or something. I don't. Yeah, fair enough.
Well, he said they're not even going to hack it. He said it's through social engineering.
Yeah,
in 3 weeks.
Which sounds to me, it still sounds like a brute force exercise, but that's
social
fine.
engineering, that's like changing a populace to believe different things. Like that's what social
No,
engineering
it's like basically they call up Amazon and get one piece of personal information, and they call up, basically they
using it
get
on, like,
everyone's
a
personal
single
information by like using exploiting a bunch of customer service agents to finally like get the holy grail, which is like their fucking email account.
So
or
basically,
whatever,
they want
login.
to call people and manipulate individuals
so they send
to
them in
find
to get their
information.
stuff. Yeah, people will fall for that though.
Well, I know it would work. Or what he means is
what's the scariest part about what he just said is that it's probably possible, and he probably could do it.
Maybe,
within maybe some of the
probably, it's
constraints
entirely.
that he could do. But I don't know, 3 weeks. I know that sounds a bit.
But I think
ambitious,
actually Nick's version of social engineering might even be in his thought process, where he's going to go, here's what we're going to do.
I have no doubt that it is. Yeah.
We're going to lead all the public to believe we just did it instead of actually doing it.
All right. Now we're gonna fucking move on. Jesus Christ,
Chris, that was great.
we got some legs on that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
good addition right there. Well done. All right. Lastly, let's talk about the CW, you guys.
Yay.
Yeah.
The
This
WB?
it used to be the WB.
To the WB.
I miss it.
What?
Animaniacs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This past Monday night, the CW Online service, The Seed, launched and aired Chasing the Cup, a reality TV show about 5 dudes vying for the Mortal Kombat X World Championship. It should be noted that Chasing the Cup is a kind of a series that Warner Brothers has done with their offshoot, Machinima or Machinima.
Right, which was almost called Five Dudes,
Machinima,
One
I
Cup.
Oh, God. You've been waiting all day for that, haven't you?
No, actually,
come on.
I just thought of it.
It's a reality TV show about 5 dudes vying for the Mortal Kombat X World Championship. It's the first of its kind on a more broad network, at least through internet streaming, and it's also the first of its kind in an era of gamers and fans watching the web for people playing games professionally and otherwise. It's another network in the growing list of adding gaming content to their roster. So I wrote actually a correlation, but it doesn't really work because we actually watched a couple episodes today, and the reference I was going to make,
okay.
it doesn't really work anymore. We need to watch some more before I can judge that.
Well,
appropriately.
start by saying it.
I was going to say think Top Chef / Real World with controllers, but there is the competition like Top Chef, but it's not like they're coming up with their own games from scratch.
It's not a bunch of judges that are deciding who
Right.
goes and who
and
stays.
they're not all living in the same space like they
What
are in Real
it
World.
exactly reminded me of was I don't know if you ever saw it. It was a cosplay like reality show where they dressed up. It was a bunch of like famous cosplayers, and they were like talking about the different the different shows that they wanted to go to and what they were doing to prepare for them. And they had they went through each one. They had the one that was really famous, really good, and then they had a bunch of other people that were like on the rise, and they wanted to get into it.
When was there ever a cosplay?
It was
TV show?
called Heroes of Cosplay.
Heroes of Cosplay, and it was on
and
the
it was on
Sci-Fi
Sci-Fi.
show. Yeah.
It was on the Sci-Fi
No
network.
shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe
And-
I should have not given up cable. Apparently,
It was
Okay.
good.
2013.
It was good, but it reminded me of this. Like it was like trying to put out something that isn't exactly like mainstream yet. in a
Right, it's
way.
like a niche thing, but it's
Yeah.
still got a decent enough following that we can
it was
capitalize
Fun to, it was
on.
fun to watch,
Right.
I guess, but like any reality TV show, I guess
it
you'd say.
lasted 12 episodes.
Yeah, I think I only watched
So like a season, effectively.
part of that.
Okay.
Yeah,
So basically, they did a pilot season, and it probably didn't pick up. It only got like a 5 out of 10 on IMDb.
Right. And so
okay, but it reminded
This
me
is
of
how
that.
I Google
Yeah.
things on the show.
fair enough. Fact checking on the fly is good. So the show centers around 5 guys, all males, by the way. 3 from America and 2 from Canada, even though the show says that players are from all over the world, at least the Western Hemisphere.
America and America's hat.
It's been aired exclusively on the CW's Seed app, which is kind of like HBO Go or Showtime Now or whatever. It's not necessarily on cable, but they did air the finale recently, which is an hour long compared to the 15-minute episodes to 20 minutes, I think. We watched a couple of them today. I think it's a little bare bones, right? It seems a little bit like fabricated from the producer's angle.
Well, you have to fabricate. You're competing with shows like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, which is entirely fabricated, including their own skin.
But you don't make this show to compete with a show like that.
You do in some senses, because despite what you think, like you have to fit a certain
There's a
format
formula
in order
or
to,
a format, yeah.
in order to even exist in the first place. You know, so you might not be reaching the same demographic as Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but you have to be able to appeal to more than just a small fraction of the demographic that you're shooting for, right?
Right.
There's a hope, right, that I think that with this show, especially with the way that they did it, that they tried to approach it in a certain way that there's a possibility that even if you don't like games, you might enjoy this for the human element of these people who
or the reality
believe in
TV
something that they really love and are fighting in a competition to win a prize or something to that effect. I mean, just because I watch Survivor doesn't mean I want to live on a not actually deserted island, but you get what I'm
right
where I'm going with this.
You get the occasional shipment from the network.
Yeah.
Ain't no hatchet.
It's like, I'm in the middle of a deserted island. Where am I going to find food? Is that a good angle? Do you guys want to take that back? Let's do it again.
Contextually,
I'm so hungry.
Contextually speaking, at least in the episodes that we saw, the show has everybody kind of like in their own home space, kind of like giving their past and their history and their living situations, and for the younger players, some very scripted interaction from their parents. For sure.
Oh, yeah,
oh
the
boy.
parents, yeah.
And that's cool. It's cool that the parents are involved. You know what? You need some parental support.
Is it like Tiger Mom level or what? Because I haven't seen this show yet, but that's kind of what I'm imagining. Like, you go out there and you fucking beat his ass.
No,
it's actually the opposite.
Dinner tonight.
It's the opposite, I think. Like, I think there's one dad for one of the players who's like, I believe in what my son is
most
doing.
Supportive one, yeah.
Right? Because he's kind of seeing the rewards. This guy's won a bunch of things, and he's kind of understanding or coming to understand that his son is actually very good at this, and that there's perceptibly a modicum of future and financial yield in his son's future, and that's what any parent
is the
wants.
Dad just waiting for like a huge payday or something?
Maybe we'll see, but we'll see. I can't say that. I don't want maybe not. Maybe he's just being a cool dad and supporting his son in something that his son is passionate about. I have no idea. But there's another mom who's kind of like oh yeah, it's fine that my son has this hobby as long as his grades stay up, but he's not allowed to go to tournaments unless if the grades are slipping.
They're pretty bad. And there was another mom too where they had that really staged scene where she was trying to tell them to do chores.
Right,
and the two of them were like, whoever loses has to do it. And then she's like, is anyone coming down?
Which is honestly, like, if I was a younger man and I had a brother, I do not. That's exactly how we would settle shit. So I can there's a certain amount of like real life to that. You know what I mean?
But real life only as far as let's perpetuate this.
Right. Don't get the producer to tell my mom to say that before she walks in the room.
Exactly.
And when that's kind of the way it seems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because whether or not that even happened for real, maybe it did. Maybe that's how their daily life is because they're brothers who are both competing professionally in Mortal Kombat X or the other previous Mortal Kombat titles as well. But it's still, I mean, having her do this in such a contrived way was frustrating. Like, she literally walks in the room like she's like, and then I walk to this mark right here, and then I turn right, and I go, okay, guys, someone needs to help me with this thing downstairs.
There's a couple moments where she's like, I looked at the camera. Don't look at the camera. Don't look at the camera. I looked at the camera. Don't look at the camera. Yeah.
I'm just imagining that episode of South Park, the World of Warcraft one. It's like, ma'am, and then he's just like,
hold the bucket,
shitting like into a
hold the bucket.
While playing Mortal Kombat.
There were definite moments where I felt it was kind of jarring, and I started equating it to other reality TV and how much that is kind of shit. But there's also something very compelling about it in a weird way because I felt like there's the competition that is around the Mortal Kombat, like ESL and ESO, championships and stuff. Everything that goes into that kind of like presents itself very naturally to reality TV. So like the best reality TV as far as, and I say that with air quotes, best, is usually based around a competition. When you talk about like Survivor or Top Chef or anything like that, you need to have some sort of like competition where people are vying for
one goal.
What are
you guys working for that I can understand?
Right. How can I pick my favorite? That kind of thing.
Which is why because we spent so much time on the other topics, we'll try to keep this one fairly short. Go watch it for yourself and make your own conjectures on it. But this is why I feel in like a final thought sense that this show missed the mark. It's still, I liked it. It's
close.
Here's why I think it missed the mark, because the first esports show that does do a judges elimination style competition contest reality show where a player is getting booted off every week, all although I don't really love those shows, that one's gonna crush the show. Like people will watch that all day because you need the opportunity to root for your own guy, and there needs to be the pressure that your guy might always be at risk of leaving at any moment.
Exactly.
And that's what makes people so amped about these kind of shows. They got to watch the next one. Does my guy win? And this one's just kind of like follow them all to the championship, and then there's one winner. Right?
I agree with that because I felt exactly the same way with the cosplay show that I was explaining before, where it's like, oh, who am I actually rooting for? What, the best one or something? They didn't actually explain it. They didn't really make a competition out of it. I guess they were competing with each other, but I didn't feel that competition. If they lined up and they're like, oh, you were the best, you were the best, you were the best, you get eliminated out of these groups, then it would then it might resolve itself to be more of that kind of show. But for this one, they chose like random players. Like they chose like the top player, and then they chose somebody who was like in the middle, and then
Right,
somebody,
it's like 5 guys
people at
spread
the
out through the
bottom.
top 20
So,
or
like,
something. Yeah.
Only one of the people on the show actually had a chance of winning the competition. It seemed like everybody else was actually near,
Kind of vying for their
They're kind of
own
in the middle
spot.
at the bottom. They're just trying to get as close as they can to the top, to the finals, I guess.
Right.
And it felt the same way with the cosplay show. So
Well, because they're saying, have a look into our culture. And once you get the picture, you have no reason to stay, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's good, you're saying, oh, I get it. Now I have a deeper understanding of what you guys do. I have no reason to continue watching to the end.
So I gotta
Because there's no story, there's no fake story arc where I get to see if my hero makes
But
it to the
there's no judges. It's literally their own skill that will determine the winner.
This isn't real world.
Right.
so it is more like real life, which is why
Yeah.
it's not necessarily as entertaining. As soon as I get the picture of what their world is like, I feel like I have learned what I need to learn, like reading a history book. I don't necessarily need to know, how everybody got there once I get how their life was.
Right.
Like, I don't know. That's the only, I guess that's my
I think
takeaway from
I think it's
my biggest takeaway is that CW did something that everybody else has been waiting to do. Like you can talk about CW being part of Warner Brothers, which is the publisher of Mortal Kombat, and then being part of Machinima, or however you pronounce that YouTube network's name, or whatever.
Machinima.
Yeah.
I say Machinima.
Okay, that's how I would say it too. Clearly.
That's what matters.
But that's, and then they pump out all sorts of Mortal Kombat content, whatever. It's all part of the same kind of like incestuous thing, and that's fine. But like, how do you capitalize, right? And I think they're doing a good job, because what they've done is they've watched networks like ESPN and TBS and maybe, I don't know, there's a handful of others that we've talked about on the show at length that are getting in on the esports thing. You know what I mean? It's going to become part of like natural programming and content for these channels, whether it be online or on TV. And what's cool to me is that they're kind of actually trying to like think a little bit, have a bit more forethought, in the sense that like, we know that this stuff's coming. How do we get ahead of the game a little bit and start creating unique content, even if it's based on a model that's previously existed? I don't know. It bodes well. I'm just saying that this is cool.
I'm excited for this in the sense that it's like nationally syndicated, I guess you could say, because CW is nationally syndicated. But does this make it comparable to like national sports? Like,
No, not exactly.
I'd like we're trying to like argue that like this is maybe more of a
Legitimization.
Yeah, thank you. I just sat here like an idiot, just trying to think of the word.
and we let you for a little while.
Of esports, and I don't think it is, because there aren't any shows out there that are like doing this with like national football players.
This is a
great point. Yeah.
And I'm curious, why aren't we broadcasting the shows on like syndication, like the actual competitions on syndication, and then on MTV we show these kind
The
of
championship or
shows.
something. Well, here's the thing.
these reality shows.
Well, MTV is pretty ripe for this too, and I think that's actually an excellent example of a network that could do well by picking up on this kind of thing, seeing as how they don't play music videos anymore. But my point is you have an excellent point. That's my point.
Thank you.
And I would say that everybody, what CW has done well is that, yes, we're going to air these episodes online, because that's where a lot of people watch their esports and their gaming in general, right? But we will air the finale, which was I think instead of like 15 to 20 minutes, they did a full hour that actually contextualized the game a little bit better, based on the article anyway. And they actually transferred it over, and they broadcast it on the CW network on television, just as a test to kind of see like what internet numbers ratings wise are going to transfer over to actual
to the
television.
show.
Yeah, so they're testing the waters. They're dipping their toes in that pond a little bit.
And yeah, they definitely are dipping their toes in, and that's a good thing, because they are kind of setting the bar for all the other things we talked about the shows that are going to do it better all that does is facilitate the type of competition that brings us to the forefront.
It's setting a precedent. Yes. Totally valid. All right, we're going to move on, but before we do, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the lightning round. Stay tuned. Last week, we started our giveaways program again by offering up 5 Gang Beast Steam keys, courtesy of the folks over at Bone. We're happy to announce this week's winners are Denny H, Jake R, Julian Z, Sergio C, and Nicolas. I really hope that I'm pronouncing that correctly. Congrats to the lucky winners. We'll be sending out those keys in the next day or so keep your eyes open on your email inboxes. This week, we're offering up 3 Dad Beat Dad Steam keys. Ted and Corey from Stellar J, the makers of Dad Beat Dads, joined us back on episode 70 and were gracious enough to give us a few keys to share with you guys. So make sure you hit up the giveaways page on our website to get in your entries. All right, we're back. Thank you for hanging in there. Welcome back. All right, it's time for the lightning round. Here's how it works. We're going to take 2 quick topics and give each member of the panel a minute to chime in, uninterrupted for the most part. At the end of each minute, we will award the panel. Yeah, you totally did. It worked too well. At the end of each minute, we will award the panelists a quantity of some type of points based on nothing in particular, really. So, first and foremost, Boyan Spazov over at Haemimont.games.com, who happens to be part of the Tropico dev team, wrote a piece this week going to bat for the early access concept, specifically on Steam. It's been used for a while now. A lot of us don't give it much of a second thought, but he wants to know if it negatively affects actual releases. What happens when a game doesn't get finished? That sort of stuff. He wrote a really cool cheat sheet about promoting other developers to get into the mix and what you should look out for. But let's take a look closer and kind of figure out, is he right? Is he wrong? That's what I'm curious about. Do you think, since I don't think any of us have actually had like a game on early access yet, but we've all played games that are on early access to a certain degree. You were playing Ark for a long time, Nick.
I'm playing Ark right now.
Right, but it's officially come out now, but you played it while it was on early access. But let's give a minute here. Like, is he right? Like, does early access help or hurt? Is this part of a larger conversation when we talk about games in general?
Does it hurt what? Say again.
Does it hurt?
Do you like release? Early access?
Yeah, is early access a good thing or a bad thing?
Okay.
Brass tacks here. I'm going to start with our brother from another mother. All the way out in North Carolina, Mr. Chris Morris. Humor us with a minute.
I only have like a minute to do this. Holy cow.
Good luck.
All right. Yeah, so I actually think that early access is pretty great if used properly. And it sounds like Haemimont, they went into early access intending to use it in a certain way. And so just judging by like his cheat sheet and the things that he talks about with communicating with the players, he's right. Like they didn't set anything in stone that like they couldn't promise, and they didn't lie to their customers, which I think is important because it gave them more leeway to like experiment, to take feedback, to iterate on their game, and to deliver like the end result that people really wanted, which is a luxury that most people don't get when building and releasing a game. Because if you do it and it sucks and you put it out there, like, sorry, good luck. You just wasted like 2 years and all your money. So if you use early access properly, and not just as another like marketing tool or a pre-order tool, I think you can make your game way better in the long run.
I will award you 5 Schnozzberries.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No, I think, look, I could try and pull a different currency out of everything you just said, but thematically speaking, this is accurate.
I'm going to go lick my wall also.
Nice.
The one that you never hung anything on?
Yep.
Yep. All right. Mr. Arroyo. Give me a minute.
I think early access is a good thing. I think it poses a consumer problem, though, in a way, just for the sake of playing devil's advocate. Something that we heard told to us by a dev that I probably won't share for now, but of a popular game right now that's in Steam early access, where they're actually, consumers are worried that when it actually goes out of early access, it means that they'll stop working on the game. And it's this really weird flux position we're in right now, where it means once we're done with early access, it must mean that we're finished, and they can't really define the line between when are you actively working on it and the day you release it, it must be done. And so it's really weird because fans are favoring early access. They're actually telling the devs, like, please don't stop early access. We love waking up every morning to the new edition of your game with the fixes and the feedback that we gave. So is it perpetuating a larger issue where every game will always be in early access forever? That's what concerns me a little bit about it. But yeah.
Because you said devil's advocate, I'm going to give you 5 Keanu Reeves and 3 Al Pacinos
Oh my
for your
god.
minute.
Why did I get more Reeves than Pacino's?
Well, Reeves is the star.
Okay.
Keep that in mind. All right.
Because it only takes 3 Pacinos to
To
do
equate
the
to 5 Reeves. It's like, what's more with less? You know what I mean?
Right.
Mr. Golish, give me a minute
how's it going?
about Steam early access. Good or bad?
Personal preference about early access in general is it's kind of dumb. Early access is silly. Like, at some point, publishers realize that, like, hey, if we can just get consumers to like pay for it before the game comes out, then the game's halfway funded already. Let's just do that. Why can't we just... Okay, this is really odd because it's coming from a guy who plays 90% of his games, early access games. I played Minecraft when it was 500,000 users. And I played Space Engineers like 3 years ago. And I'm playing Ark before it came out. And all these games were in early access when I was playing. And I stopped playing it when the games actually came out. Because why would I play it when I've played it for 3 years?
Hipster.
Why would I play it when it came out for 3 years before it actually came out? Like, what does early access mean anymore? It's a fucking joke. Like... Why not just fucking release the game? Why? Because people are going to play for it. People are really excited for it. You release enough information for it, and people are going to... I don't know. Like, early access is silly.
I'm going to give you 1 pair of horn-rimmed black glasses.
I want one
5
elevator...
packs of American Spirit cigarettes.
I want 1 elevator to anywhere.
And a can of Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's about right.
That's about right.
That's not even Willy Wonka.
And a pair of headphones you always have on, but you're not actually
That
listening.
you're not
to
actually
anything.
listening to. They're probably Beats. Okay.
Oh God.
We've seen things like Prison Architect. We've seen things like Kerbal Space Program, which was in like early access for like a fucking decade or however long, that have all come to fruition and all been released. At this point, Ark, previously mentioned, we've seen good things come out of this. We get to have feedback. People get to play test this way. I agree with you that it can very easily come across as a ploy to just make like your base amount of money, ship the game, and hope that people don't cancel their fucking checks. I get that. But it's also, from a design and development standpoint, a really great way to get feedback, interact with your community, and build one for the in that stead. However, it's a thing that's so kind of unique and so tied to the crowd and crowdfunding and the Kickstarter generation and game development in general right now that it's so hard. Like, we are absolutely in that place right now where it's hard to figure out. Keep it going. It'll work itself out. That's kind of how I feel about it.
That's...
we don't have a guest today, so you guys get to collaborate on how to give me points.
I'll give you 5 turnips.
Okay.
What's that gum that they chew that they get stuck on the ceiling?
All gums.
ABC gum.
No, there's the one gum or something where they chew and they get full of like helium and they float to the ceiling. They can't get down. And it's the reason why Charlie might not get the chocolate factory because...
Oh, you're talking about
It's the
fizzy
soda.
lifting
It's the fizzy
drink. It's a
lifting drink.
soda.
Fizzy
It's a
lifty
soda,
soda.
yeah.
All right, you get one of those.
I get one. Okay.
I was
Yeah.
going to give you 5 successful Kickstarter projects and 1 failed Kickstarter project.
Okay. Good talk.
But it wasn't your fault. Your friends used all your money for
On hookers,
hookers
strippers,
and
and booze.
booze.
Okay. Oh, and simulator.
Who's going to get the golden ticklet?
Ticklet.
That's,
You are.
we all just tickled each
The
other.
tickle
It was
it.
adorable. You guys missed
We
it.
just named the episode the Golden Ticklet.
the
It's
golden
happening.
ticklet for
Oh,
sure.
Done.
That's happening. All right.
You're welcome.
All right, last topic. Lightning round. Chris Roberts, the Willy Wonka behind the chocolate factory that is Star Citizen, was quoted this past week as saying something to the effect that the
Did you
RSI...
just rip a fart, by the way?
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. To the effect that the RSI should have explained their dev schedule better. This is both just do you, man, and yeah, that would have been nice. If you're a donor, sure, you'd like to know what's up. If you're just waiting for release, hang in there. I think this could go both ways, but let's suss it out. He went on to kind of mention at the same time, this is kind of the weird animal about crowdfunding, which is kind of interesting segue back to our previous topic. But like when you are offering larger aspects of scope based on the amount of money that you make, of course the game is going to take longer, right?
Sure.
So, but being unsure of the amount of money that you might be making, it's kind of hard to build a schedule around that. I'll take the first minute.
Okay.
Chris Roberts has done 0 things wrong. They have the most money of any crowdfunded game of all time. They are building arguably the most ambitious game of all time. They have they've changed their plans, they've done a bunch of things, they've added a bunch of modes. There are parts that are playable now. There are parts that will not be playable until release. There are things that you can do and money that you can spend to get involved now. This probably contributes to the fact that they have over $107+ million in funding right now. If you are that concerned about where your money went, this does not make you a designer. It does not make you a president of that company. It does not mean you have any say. This goes back to a bunch of the topics I feel like that we talked about today. You are a buyer. You are investing money. You need to beware. You need to do your research and make sure that you understand what it is that you are giving money towards. Just like any charity, just like any present, just like any person that you are going to lend money to.
Steam game you bought.
Sure. You have to do your research. You can't just throw money out there and hope for the fucking best. Chris Roberts owes you fucking nothing but a game, and he will release it when he's ready. I'm done.
Good work.
I will give you $107+ million to donate to the charity of Joe Erskine.
It's a needy charity, you guys.
AKA your son's college fund.
Sure.
Or
I mean, that's every college. I'm sure I can afford every college with $107 million. But
yeah. Or a lot of booze and strippers like in the last theme.
Okay. Mr. Morris. Minute number 2.
All right, so I actually kind of agree that he maybe should have explained what he was doing with all this money and their schedule, because at some point, when you collect $108 million, it's kind of important to be transparent, especially with crowdfunding, what you're actually doing with that money, what people should expect out of it, and what your timeline is going to be. Because for all we know, he could totally just be fucking blowing it all on hookers and cocaine and not actually like making the game that everyone expects he's going to make. Yeah, there's the problem of like more money, more problems, like the scope's going to increase, but I mean, with more power also comes more responsibility. So that's where I stand.
Fuck you, Tobey Maguire. Yeah. Are you done? You got 18 seconds left.
I'm done.
Okay.
Uncle Ben.
I'm going to award you the Venom suit as well as the red and blue Spider-Man suit and Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh shit!
Remember?
I feel like that's a lot of points.
Rises to the top.
He's the bone saw, yo. He's the fucking bone saw. Bone saw.
Jesus. That sounds like it would equate to a lot of. If I tried to pawn the Spider-Man suit, I think I'd make a lot of money.
Well, I think he had a good point. However, I will say this: like,
Does he get the bone saw?
there are companies out there all the time that make a bunch of money, but they don't have to fucking be transparent at all. Why do games all of a sudden have to be transparent?
I didn't know that Joe Erskine got it.
Because crowdfunding. Not. I mean, you have to be transparent to your publisher if your publisher gives you $100 million.
I hate to tell you, but like hedge funds are crowdfunded. They come from private investors. Anyway, Mr. Arroyo, you got a minute.
Investors are investors. Schedules are schedules. Promises are promises. You keep your promises. You stay transparent. You meet your milestones and you make a successful product. That's the ultimate goal.
Yes.
If you have a publisher, then you're diligent on that because you don't get your next check unless you meet the milestone. It doesn't give you the right to get all of it up front and then go running away with all of it and not being transparent about what you're doing. I actually think it's even more important to be transparent in this scenario because the people who donated to you are the direct consumers that you're creating the relationship with that are going to buy your game or already have in advance. Mm-hmm. So of all the people not to fuck over, it's probably the Wall Street of your gaming community in that sense, the people who are going to buy your next game after that and so on and so forth. So I think it's even more important than keeping up with publishers. But it's a scary thing. You ever been paid in advance for a gig? You kind of feel weird about it once you make it because you're like, where's all the money now? I already used it. Damn it.
I award you 10 Gordon geckos. Because greed is good. Okay? All right. You talk about Wall Street a bunch. Makes sense.
I get it.
Think about it.
I liked it.
All right. Mr. Goalish.
Is the Dow up or
What's the question?
Tell me if you think Star Citizen should have had a better transparency with the development schedule based on all the money they made.
Yeah, probably.
Brass tacks. Are you gonna drop the mic or should I drop it for you?
Can I just talk about Star Citizen?
Sure.
This game's silly. Like, where are we going with this? I have friends excited about this game, and I don't even know what to tell them anymore. Like,
It's not up to you.
I know it's not up to me. It's I just like the whole Bonesaw reference. That was great. That was I just got a picture, of this first Spider-Man movie where the person is.
Here we go. 20 seconds.
They got people. It's not even my story. It's fucking from Tobey Maguire. But Tobey Maguire told me the story. But it's a guy with a cardboard bone saw and he's just sawing his arm in the middle of the crowd in the Spider-Man movie. And it's like, bone saw. I was like, yeah, that's good.
Where Tobey Maguire told you the story?
Yeah, did he tell you?
Okay, no.
I'm gonna give you 5 upside down kisses.
I want a golden
Kirsten
ticket.
Dunst
I want a golden ticket.
and one
God,
racehorse.
I'm
because
never
he was
gonna
in
get that
other
golden
racehorsing
ticket.
movie. Anyway,
it's Hidalgo.
Hidalgo.
That's not it, but I'm gonna make you believe it is.
So basically, you want to social engineer everybody into thinking that's the name of the horse.
Seabiscuit.
Seabiscuit.
We got there eventually, everybody. It was good. Oh man, this was fun. We haven't done a core panel in a while, you guys. This was good.
It was
Chris,
all right.
how's North Carolina? You okay over there? We didn't really do banter at the top. I don't have no idea how you're doing. Are you okay?
I'm hanging in there, dog. It's still the South, right? So that's probably not going to change.
It's kind of the South.
It's also kind of
Yeah.
the east, far east.
It's pretty much the South.
You will
kinda
encounter
Middle
people
East.
that
It's kind of like
It's
not
kind of
middle.
like the Middle East.
it's
It's not Middle East at all.
I don't think
if people wear like checkered shirts and speak in a drawl. You know what I mean?
Well, they're all
Like,
kinda
fucking
angry.
bow ties.
I do
People
declare.
walk around wearing bow ties in a totally non-ironic, non-hipster way, which
Yeah.
still fucking weirds me out.
Oh, dude.
I was like, it's not like you're wearing a bow tie in
No.
fucking Portland.
Wait,
yeah, they have bow ties and they have like facial hair, like Colonel
fucking
Sanders.
Colonel Sanders.
Like, exactly, and it's fucking. That's because that's where that originated. That's where that happened
wait,
first.
you're upset that they're wearing bow ties or that they're not wearing bow ties?
That
No,
they are
I'm not upset at all. It's like
a common thing.
coming from the Pacific Northwest / West Coast. When people wear bow ties, it's because they're being like ironic or a hipster, not because it's like a serious like
Hollywood.
fashion thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait,
that,
I
that
thought.
cleared it up.
Wait, bow ties with are bow ties acceptable with a suit?
They better be.
They're just acceptable with fucking like a
If you're gonna
white
do it in
shirt,
North Carolina,
suspenders,
though,
and a Colonel Sanders
yeah,
mustache.
you need seersucker suits though. Like
no, I agree with you
seersucker.
there. I was asking for your personal opinion. Like, where do you see bow ties as a like legitimate piece of attire? Because I don't wear them ironically. now I feel like I just don't know what the.
I feel like one of the only gentlemen I know that can like pull off a bow tie,
Nick Golish.
like maybe Doug Zwick and Nick Golish, I guess also would count.
A little birdie just like whispered in his ear.
I didn't even hear that. What was that? Can you say it again?
Okay.
Sorry.
Well,
keep going.
I'm glad that you're hanging in there.
Suit up.
How's Lawbreakers coming along? All right.
It's coming along, dog. I just but
Okay. Great.
a lot of work to do, man.
Sure.
Just,
Of
when,
course.
when it comes out, you should buy it so that I can afford to.
I heard it was going to
Totally.
be free though. I heard it's a free game.
No, see, I'm gonna return it after I play for 3 hours
Free
and
to play?
enjoy it.
Is it on Steam?
Is it early
Whatever,
access?
Just play the fucking game and send me a check.
Okay. Sounds good. I think
Cashiers?
I think we've
Personal?
I think we've
Money
done
order,
it.
please.
Money order, yeah,
Western Union.
yeah. Traveler's check.
Does anybody use
Can't
those
accept
anymore?
those.
Which was the easiest to
Maybe
defraud?
Bitcoin.
How about we Square Cash you, but we build a backdoor for your app.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want you to backdoor me. That seems inappropriate.
Okay.
You took it in a dark direction.
Yeah. Anyway,
Darkest.
episode
Where the sun
85. Shh. Quiet now. It's quiet time.
Dark side of the moon.
Episode 85 is effectively in the books. Thank you, Beat, for being here, dear listener. Chris, always a pleasure to talk with you, brother. Joe, Nick,
Hey,
love you guys.
how's it going?
And know that you're always curious. You're always curious. I'm also always
Stay curious, my friends.
Stay curious. No.
Stay curious.
We always want to know what you think. So please take the opportunity to hit us up on our website, on Facebook and Twitter, to talk with us. Leave us notes on the episode. SoundCloud has a great thing where you can literally timestamp your comments. You should take advantage of it. But stay tuned for a new episode coming next week. Make sure you check out the giveaways portion of the site. We just gave away a bunch of Gang Beat Steam keys. We're going to start giving away some Dad Beat Dad's keys as well. So if you stuck around for the commercial break, then you know the deal. Enjoy with our compliments. Don't spend all of your tobacco money on chocolate, Grandpa.